Good Wednesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Here are a few of the stories we have coming up for you tonight. A domestic assault last night outside Cashmere left the victim in serious condition. The Wenatchee School Board approved the contract for a Spokane-based architectural firm last night for the Triangle Park softball field project. Sunny, mild, and a bit breezy weather expected on Thanksgiving tomorrow with cooler conditions by this weekend. A report of a domestic assault led to a police tactical response this morning in East Wenatchee and a shelter-in-place alert set to smartphone users in the area. The incident took place in the 1800 block of Sunset Highway about 2:45 a.m. after a woman texted to Rivercom's 911 line that her partner was physically assaulting her. The suspect, 60-year-old Pasamio Anguino Santana, was believed to have firearms and allegedly refused to exit. He was arrested after a brief standoff with the East Cascade SWAT team and crisis negotiators. Anguiano faces possible charges of domestic violence and resisting arrest. Police say another domestic assault last night left the victim in serious condition. Chelan County Sheriff's deputies were called about 11 p.m. to the 4900 block of Nahum Canyon Road outside Cashmere on a report that a 30-year-old man was attacking his mother. Santiago Peña Corona was arrested at the scene. Deputies said the woman's injuries were so severe she was flown to Harborview Medical Center in Seattle for emergency treatment. The suspect faces multiple felony charges, including first-degree assault. The family of a 96-year-old man is suing the Wenatchee Senior Care Facility where he died, saying the facility neglectfully allowed him to wander outside and freeze to death in the December cold. Edmund Andrzejewski died late last year after walking out of Prestige Senior Living at Colonial Vista on Okanagan Avenue and then collapsing in 28-degree weather. His body was found the next day by snowplowed driver who was clearing the roadway. The lawsuit by Andrzejewski's survivors claims staff members at Prestige failed to give him adequate help when he was trying to return to his apartment and allowed him to leave through a door that locked behind him. The case was filed Monday in Chelan County Superior Court. The Wenatchee Valley Fire Department has closed deals on 2 parcels of rural property in southern Chelan County, the future home of 2 new fire stations. Department Chief Brian Brett told NCWLIFE News there's no construction scheduled at the moment, but new bases in the Stamilt Basin and Wenatchee Heights would allow better fire protection in areas where more and more people are making their homes.
We've been working with the Matheson family on acquiring this parcel for a couple of years. They're very proactive in trying to benefit the Stamilt Basin area, wonderful neighbors for the community, and they identified a parcel in working with us that's strategic in location. It's by the Four Corners, which is the church, Blair Slack Road, Stamilt Loop Road, Stamilt Hill Road, and that will tie in nicely with our Malaga fire station. And in addition to just having acquired this parcel, the Berdan family donated a parcel to us on the Wenatchee Heights side, just above the Squilchuck station. So that's going to give us wonderful coverage across the Wenatchee Heights, Stamilt Basin to Malaga, and looking towards the Clockham. We do not have a time frame on it yet. One of the caveats is we need at least 6 volunteers to be present to get credit from the Washington Survey and Rating Bureau for insurance purposes. But aside from insurance purposes, we need staffing for those fire stations to make them valuable. As you know, we had that fire last week up on the Wenatchee Heights, extended response time. It's one of the few structures, well, it was probably the first structure we've lost in a few years. Just the lengthy response times are counterproductive for us in suppression.
When we come back, K-9 Gambit has made his first visits to Chelan County schools this week. And after electing its own chief coroner last year, Douglas County is now seeking a chief deputy coroner to take on some of the duties. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Hi everybody, Dan Coates alongside Jesse Coble from Alpine Air. There's ice on my heat pump and under my heat pump.
Well, Ice under your heat pump is normal. When we go into a defrost cycle, it melts the frost off, creates water, which freezes to the ground. Ice around your heat pump is a thing that you should probably give us a call about.
Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air for heat and air. Call Alpine Air. Thanks, Jesse.
Thanks.
Now there are even more reasons to meet at the Pybus Market. Outdoor dining and tastings, the fabulous farmers market, Saturday artisans on the concourse, and your favorites all week long. No matter the reason, it's always time to meet at the Pybus Market. Pybus Market, where community meets.
The Wenatchee School Board approved the contract for Bernardo Wills, a Spokane-based architectural firm, last night for the Triangle Park softball field project. The district announced they would meet to approve the contract on Monday. Wenatchee School District Superintendent Corey Callahar stressed the importance of approving the contract to get the project going.
Usually a topic such as this would be on the regular board agenda in our consent agenda, but this is the contract for architectural and design work for our softball field. Realistically, the timeline for the architectural and design work is quite urgent. And so we could not wait another week to address this aggressive timeline that we have for the softball complex. And the goal is that the architectural and design work begin absolutely immediately so that we can have this work ready to go out to bid in the early spring, late winter even, so that we can have the project begin in April and complete the softball complex by August of next year. So that's the plan and the sense of urgency. So Bernardo Wills has already begun getting their timeline and their people ready for us to go. So that is kind of why we are here and ready to make this thing happen.
K-9 Gambit has made his first visits to Chelan County schools this week. Gambit and handler Deputy Jacob Lewis have agreements with 8 school districts in Chelan and Douglas counties as a way to give back to the community, something that began with K-9 Kate, who passed away in August. Gambit visited Wenatchee High School on Monday and Cascade High School and Icicle Middle School in Leavenworth on Tuesday. No drugs were found at any location, and the county hopes that the K-9 will serve as a deterrent for anyone thinking about bringing drugs to the schools. During the visits, Deputy Lewis answered questions from administrators and interacted with students who got the chance to give Gambit some pets. Chelan, Douglas, and Grant County PUDs are partnering to host the Regional Clean Energy Expo at the Wenatchee Convention Center. On December 14th from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., county residents can explore future energy options for the region, including solar power, hydrogen, gravity storage, compressed gas, fusion power, and more. Attendees will be asked to participate in a short survey after learning about new clean energy options. Visit Chelan PUD's website to learn more about the event and RSVP. It wasn't until late last year that Douglas County qualified to have its own full-time elected coroner. Now the county is seeking a chief deputy coroner to take on some of the duties of dealing with the dead. Coroner Tanner Bateman ran unopposed for the office in 2022 after Douglas County's population passed the 40,000 person threshold that required coroner's office separate from the prosecutor. The county put out a notice earlier this month seeking a chief deputy to assist Bateman. Applicants can submit their credentials through Douglas County's website. The job requires professional certification and carries a salary of up to $75,000 a year. Coming up next, the $134 million Confluence Parkway project will provide a second bridge across the Wenatchee River, but may also come at the expense of 2 longtime Wenatchee businesses. We'll tell you more in tonight's feature story. If you're traveling this Thanksgiving holiday, weather conditions look great. I'll have all the details in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. That and much more still to come tonight. Please stay with us.
Whatever the holidays mean to you, get the most out of them in a new Honda. Whether it's taking in the lights with all your friends in a spacious Accord, or taking in a snow day in a rugged CRV. Your holiday adventure awaits with a new Honda during Happy Honda Days. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealer today.
In Digital Media Arts program, we learn about video production gear and editing by the combination of class projects and nonprofit work and employment.
It makes things happen.
Yeah.
It's pretty magical.
We work in the industry at the Wenatchee Road, NCWLIFE channel, and the Town Toyota Center events. Every day we work with industry standard equipment for a hands-on learning experience.
The $134 million Confluence Parkway Transportation Project aspires to create a second bridge across the Wenatchee River towards the north end of the city. The new bridge would be part of a traffic bypass starting at the intersection of North Miller Street and North Wenatchee Avenue, putting both Denny's and the Igloo at risk of relocation or demolition. In tonight's feature story, NCWLIFE News caught up with the businessmen of these two establishments to see how they're faring in the uncertainty of the city's project.
One of my customers that came in one day and said, "I heard that they're tearing down your restaurant." I said, "Well, that's news to us." I said, "We know nothing about it." So I had made contact with the city, went to one of the city council meetings and found out that they were starting their legwork to preserve the history of Denny's, since it's such an iconic building. It was built in 1966. So it's on a historical register. So they have to do a bunch of legwork in order to make it where they can, if they decide to, tear it down. Problem is, there's no communication from the city. That was the last time I heard from the city, was at the city council meeting, only because I went to the council meeting. The city just needs to do a better job communicating with its business leaders. We've been around this valley for 40 years. I've employed people that were babies that grew into adults that had kids and hired their kids. You know, so I mean, we've been around here a long time. We were locally owned until almost 5 years ago. We had a local owner that owned us and operated the restaurant. The restaurant business is tough. If I have to close this business to build a new restaurant, I will lose my team. And I have employees that have been with me for 25 years or longer. You know, and it's like they can't live without a paycheck. And this is the problem that we're having with the city, is that they're not negotiating, in my opinion, in good faith. Because if they were, they would keep us abreast of what's going on. Denny's that plans on going nowhere. We plan on building. We love this valley. We've been around. I'm not retiring anytime soon. I've still got a few more good years in me. So we're going to build new. It'll be bigger, it'll be better, but it won't be this.
We've actually gone to meetings on this for a number of years. The first indication of it, I don't remember. It's quite a number of years ago. The customers have said stuff about it also. The business is very much a part of the Wenatchee. It's pretty much a landmark. It's been here for the whole life of some of our customers. If the building were to be torn down, people would miss it. We've been impacted before by a highway project. Out front used to be a parking lot. Somewhere between 1967 and 1972, the highway came closer by a substantial amount. It eliminated our front parking lot. The city has not made any offers yet. There's been no negotiation of any sort. The only comment when I talked to somebody down at the city one time was they said that the land acquisition in this whole intersection is going to be substantial. My preference isn't to demolish, but I've got my wife and my son that are in the mix also, and they'd like to see us just gone. No relocation. The business would not be the same if we were be relocated. I hope that we stay here. The uncertainty is the hardest part of this. We know something may be coming, but we don't know what. I'm on retirement age, but I'm still working to see what happens.
The kind of project we're doing where it's design build, we're just designing the road. All we've got is sort of like a pencil on a map, right? And we think it's going to look like this, and we think it's going to go here. We know how much money we have. We're not sure how far that's going to go. And so, yeah, you know, obviously there's, you know, McDougal is in a spot where it's pretty much, we're convinced that that's where a portion of the road's going to go out in Old Station. on the sort of the Denny's side and some of that, there's some question as to how much money we're going to have. Are we going to be able to get everything we want in that area? So, you know, we've had some communication with them that says, yeah, it's a maybe. We're still designing. The problem we have is once we get as far along as we are now, it becomes a federal process. This is a federalized project. So when it's a federalized project, there's a federal process that we have to go through, which means we hire an appraiser. We have the entity, and this is, use Denny's as an example, we will pay for them to hire an appraiser, and the federal government comes in with negotiators and they figure out what the right thing is, right? It's not a city function, so to speak, right? It's somebody else does it. And so we're sort of out of it, right? Other than do we have enough in the budget to do it? The timing, you know, I think sometime next year we'll know as we're starting to get some ideas and we've got our contractors on board and we're starting to figure stuff out. So I would love it if we could keep the ones that want to be kept. So we'll just have to see how it works.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast and your holiday weekend forecast. Boy, can you believe it? Thanksgiving just a day away. And what a nice one we had today. This is a dramatic shot as we head up north for our Billy Goat Sky-Fi Tower camera. And it overlooks where the rivers converge here, the Columbia River and also the Methow River. Here's Pateros and Brewster about the middle of your screen. But look at the beautiful sunlight and the clouds. Mount Spokane in the background as well, and it made for a very nice shot today. And boy, it was a nice day today. And I'll mention, if you're traveling, you are in luck over the next 3 or 4 days. A little bit of activity is possible tonight, maybe a rain-snow mix on Stevens Pass and just some rain over Snoqualmie. But look what happens Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for our area passes, Snoqualmie and Stevens. It looks fantastic. So great travel weather ahead. Let's get more specific now and take a look at your Thanksgiving Day forecast. Temperatures will be mild, upper 30s. We may even see some upper 40s in our viewing area here in north central Washington. Might be a little bit of freezing fog in the morning. I think that'll be farther up north from the Wenatchee area, and then maybe just a slight chance for rain, and that'll be over in extreme Washington. All in all, maybe some breezy conditions tomorrow, but it will be nice. And we're going to actually see some windy conditions in some of our locations. Omak, 32-mile-an-hour gust. I'm very, very skeptical that we'll see a gust up to 29. We might here in Wenatchee, but most of the wind will be in a line from Omak to Moses Lake and then points east. But all in all, a very decent Thanksgiving Day ahead for you. Today, 47 degrees, our unofficial high temperature. That's 6 degrees above where we should be at 41. But boy, what a beautiful day back in 1967. 60 degrees, our record high. We were at 32 this morning, a few degrees warmer than we should be at 29. Our record low, 1 degree. That's right, 1 degree set back in 1985. Sunrise 7:15 this morning, and the sun set this afternoon at 4:18. All right, let's get to those Thanksgiving temperatures tomorrow. It really won't be a bad day out there, a lot like today in many locations. 49 for Moses Lake and Ephrata, 48 the high temperature in Quincy. We'll be around 47 in the Wenatchee Valley, 46 for Entiat, and 45 a high temperature tomorrow if you're headed up to Leavenworth for Thanksgiving. Tonight we expect mostly clear skies thanks to this large area of high pressure that's keeping us cleared out in the Pacific Northwest. We'll call it seasonal lows tonight with low temperatures right around that 30-degree mark. All right, for your Thanksgiving, our high continues to move just a little bit to the north, and with that high and 2 other high-pressure areas, a low to our south. Breezy conditions a possibility on Thanksgiving, but temperature-wise, no problem. Mid to upper 40s tomorrow afternoon. For Friday, our high pressure continues to move to the north, and that'll begin to supply some northerly air into the Pacific Northwest, and we will see a cooling trend begin on Friday with highs in the mid-40s, and we're going down even a little bit more from there on Saturday. Even though we will see lots of sunshine, we will see cooler high temperatures with readings in the low 40s for most of us, but look at this cold air as it slides all the way down into Texas and northern Arizona. We are going to miss that, luckily. We're going to stay pretty moderate as we get into Sunday, too. Of course, that's one of the biggest travel days in the country, and we expect most mostly sunny skies. We will continue that cool down, but no precipitation in our forecast. Highs on Monday, only in the upper 30s. Getting into Tuesday, into our first part of next week, we're going to continue to see this low, but it is going to move just a little bit closer to our Pacific coast as we get into Tuesday. There you have it, and that will bring mostly sunny skies. I think we'll see just some high clouds around on Tuesday, and temperatures about where we should see them for this time of year, right around 40 degrees. All right, let's take a look at that 7-day forecast now. 47, your Thanksgiving high temperature, maybe a little bit breezy at times, especially in certain locations around our viewing area. 29, the overnight low, and then a beautiful couple days, Friday and Saturday, as we continue our cool down, will be about 42 for a high Saturday, and then a couple of days, Sunday and Monday, where we'll see high temperatures only in the upper 30s, a mix of clouds and sun. And then on Tuesday, mostly sunny with a high temperature then of 40 degrees. And that's a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Winter is a great time to trade in your current hot tub. Turn your old hot tub into money with Blue Lagoon Pool & Spa's trade-in program. You can save $500 to $1,000 off of any new artesian spa or take advantage of a free Bluetooth music experience. Blue Lagoon Pool & Spa recommends draining your hot tub every 3 months. Ask us about our drain and refill special. Stop on by Blue Lagoon Pool & Spa today. As Chelan's premier lifestyle store, Willow, find unique home decor, clothing, jewelry, and more. Come visit for a welcoming and memorable shopping experience.
Deepwater Electronics is your one-stop shop for the latest in TV and sound technology. Whether you build your home theater or let them do it for you, Deepwater Electronics is the clear choice.
The switch is on to T-Mobile. Get the best 5G experience and the customer service you depend on. Only at Chelan Wireless in downtown Chelan.
The Seahawks are playing on Thanksgiving Day for the 5th time in franchise history. The game against San Francisco tomorrow night to Lumen Field will be the first time it's Turkey Day at home. Big question mark for the game is whether Geno Smith will be able to play. Seattle's quarterback missed a couple of series Sunday after taking a helmet to the back of his upper throwing arm. He said if he can play, he's looking forward to the challenge of facing the 49er defense.
Yeah, I think you got to start up front. They got obviously one of the better D-lines in the league. A lot of first-rounders on that front seven. They have a really good Mike linebacker with Fred Warner, and Drake Greenlaw is also a great player. And then you look at the secondary, their corners are very aggressive. They like to attack the football. They like to, really press your receivers, challenge your receivers. And, they're a really good bunch, man. They fly around, they play hard, they make plays. And so, as always, every single week, it's going to be a challenge, but, I love those challenges.
Offensive coordinator Shane Waldron says his challenge is to find a rhythm of play calling in the second half that could put Seattle in better chances to convert third downs and score more points.
The script thing, there's a little bit of gray area in there, but I'll roll with that part of it. Once we get down to those next couple drives in terms of some of the penalties that knocked us off course, I think some of the negative plays. And so for us on offense, we know really coming down to good, clean execution in those scenarios. For me, putting our players in the best position we can with the play calls along the course of the 4 quarters of the game. And I think just executing as we get into the second half, starting with that first drive, coming out of the locker room right there, trying to eliminate those 3-and-outs or those quick possessions. So that we can have a successful second half.
Seattle's 2-2 historically on Thanksgiving Day. Julian Love says he's dreamed about playing on Turkey Day since he was a kid. Seattle and San Francisco will be the final NFL game of the day tomorrow. Kickoff set for 5:20 on NBC. Gonzaga Bulldogs bounce back for a Tuesday win at the Maui Invite. Graham Ike led the way, had 16 points and 14 rebounds. The Bulldogs beat Syracuse by a final of 76-57. Seattle Kraken hosts the San Jose Sharks in NHL play coming up tonight. Seattle's looking to bounce back from an overtime loss to Calgary a couple of nights ago. Goalie Joey Decord says, he felt good to being called upon to relieve Philip Grubauer and will continue playing his game.
There's no one piece, it's kind of a combination of everything. Mentally, I thought my mindset was pretty good last night, especially coming in cold. And obviously, it's 4 minutes away from from a really good relief appearance. You know, I still think I played pretty well, but it's just the result's not there. But for me, like, I just look at the process, and I thought my process was really good last night for myself personally. And I think that if I continue to stick to the process, do the right things, then the results will come. So for me, it's just right back to the drawing board and just getting back to the proper process.
You getting enough net front presence? Are you happy with the traffic as this first quarter has progressed? Is it something that's gotten better?
Our last 3-4 games have been pretty good in that respect. We've been inconsistent in that regard through the earlier parts of the schedule, but that part you know, we're happy with where we're growing and developing there. We've become pretty consistent. If you look at some of the opportunities that we generated last night, both on or off net, we had real good presence.
Seattle and San Jose drop the puck at Climate Pledge Arena tonight at 7 o'clock on Root Sports Northwest. Well, it's still early in the WHL season, but the Wenatchee Wild notched a huge win last night on home ice. Wenatchee came from behind with a 3-goal third period to knock off the top team in the Eastern Conference, Saskatoon, 4-2. Austin Drade had the exciting third period call on the Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network.
Dump and chase right now for Saskatoon, just looking for positioning, not for a chance to change at this moment. Ahead for Wood, give and go, finds Wu, wrist shot, top corner, he scores! This game is tied! Trying to chip it ahead against Lazowski over the blue line. Wild stay on time and stay on side. Cooper has it right half wall, got it to Friesen, into the top corner, he scores! And the Wild have taken a 3-2 lead! As Wu gets to it, tried to play it back out. One-timer in front. It's stolen, sent on. G covers it up. And we've got a Donnybrook down in their face-off circle. Will pile up on top of one of the Saskatoon players who got a little too close to the net for a little too long. Cumby battling. Is that Armstrong? It is. His old teammate. They come together, have a few words. Wong near dot. Looks to the goal line, and it goes wide and below. Back to get to it, Lisowski, left hash mark for Wong. Wild steal it with Savoy. Geekie all alone. Geekie will walk it in. It's 4-2. Seven seconds left. Puck back near the blue line. We'll let the crowd bring you home. This team has won 9 in a row in the Wolves' Den. They are 10-1 at home, and they'll play Spokane on Friday night. Happy Thanksgiving, Wild Nation.
Wenatchee will host the Spokane Chiefs Friday night at 7. They'll be collecting toys for the NCW Community Toy Drive presented by Les Schwab as well on Friday night. Well, Eastmont and Wenatchee met for the first time in bowling yesterday at Eastmont Lanes. As usual, it was an exciting affair coming right down to the final few pins. Panthers came out on top 3-2 in a pin count runoff. Wenatchee won the opening game 9-10 to 8-09. Wildcats won the second 8-42 to 8-37. Eastmont took the first Baker by 10 pins, and Wenatchee won the second by 8. That gave the Panthers an 84-pin victory. Ava Porter was the high bowler for Wenatchee with a 242 and a 184. Eastmont's Jillian Castle was very consistent with back-to-back 214s. How about that? I've never come close to 200 in bowling. Congrats, ladies. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom. Have a very happy Thanksgiving, and we will see you again on Friday.
And that will do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks so much for being with us, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Hi, I'm Eric Grandstrom.
And I'm Brent Rhodes with the NCW Community Toy Drive presented by Les Schwab.
Be sure to join us Saturday, November 25th at Hooked on Toys for our Toy Drive kickoff.
I'll be there broadcasting live on Country 104.7 KKRV starting at 9.
And we'll be live on NCWLIFE channel from 10 to 11.
Find out more about the organizations that serve children here in North Central Washington.
Help us kick off the Toy Drive this year to make sure everyone has a Merry Christmas.
See you Saturday at Hooked on Toys.
And happy holidays.